Gypsy Rose Blanchard is free and she is defending her man against backlash. She married her husband Ryan while she was behind bars, and now that she is a big-time celebrity, people have feelings about her freedom and her new relationship. So let's get into it. To be honest, I never thought I'd make a video about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I mean, there's so much content on her already. Do we really need any more? But this morning, I woke up to some interesting comments that she left on social media, and we need to break it down and just talk about how society is reacting to her release, because a lot of people have mixed opinions. Nonetheless, I think we can all agree that she was living through hell under her mother's care.
Convinced her daughter, along with a host of doctors and medical professionals, that Gypsy had leukemia, muscular dystrophy, epilepsy, and severe asthma, leading Gypsy to sleep in a breathing machine and undergo numerous unnecessary surgeries, including having a tube inserted in her stomach to force feed her.
Now, before we get to her comment that we need to unpack, I want to look at her social media. So Gypsy has popped off. She's got 6 million followers. She probably never saw that coming, and she's been posting a ton. Her first picture was herself in the mirror with a pack of Dr. Pepper. Honestly, girl, if I just got out of prison, I'd probably be doing the same. I love Dr. Pepper. This is her husband, Ryan. He's a pretty average guy. He's a school teacher. He actually reached out to Gypsy while she was incarcerated and they got married. So pretty much she became a free woman and already had a husband waiting at home. But there is something interesting about him because he looks a lot like her mother. I'm not trying to be triggering, but there's like something a little off there. Either way, it seems like Gypsy really is in love with Ryan and she is defending him on social media. Now, a lot of people are leaving Ryan hate. They're leaving Gypsy hate as well, but you know, she's getting a little bit more love. Nonetheless, there's again a lot of mixed opinions, but she writes, Ryan, don't listen to the haters. I love you and you love me. We don't owe anyone anything. Our family is who matters. If you get likes and good comments, great. If you get hate, then whatever, because they don't matter. I love you. Besides, they jealous because you are rocking my world every night. Yeah, I said it. The D is fire. Happy wife, happy life. Oh my God, what? The D is fire. Okay, Gypsy. Little Gypsy we saw in the wheelchair, like looking so innocent. Now she's out here talking about her husband's D is fire. Okay. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, you know, maybe we'll talk about what's going on here. And of course her husband responded. I mean, you cannot leave that comment unread. He said, who said I give a damn about what these jealous people say anyway? Haha, now come get it, baby. Ew, oh my gosh, I'm so uncomfortable. I am so uncomfy. Okay, okay, Mr. Ryan, teacher Ryan. Wow. So a lot of people are taken back, which, I mean, I'm glad they are happy. It's just a little bit of TMI. And I think that's like feeding into the fascination of Gypsy Rose, because a lot of people just cannot understand how her mind works. On a darker note, she's receiving a lot of backlash because she did essentially plan her mother's murder, and she used this guy that she was like kind of dating to, you know, follow through the act. But this person left a comment I wanted to read to you guys. I'm really sick of all the people calling her a murderer when she wasn't the one that actually killed her mom. And it was self-defense because she was being abused. Again, this isn't my opinion. I have like a mixed opinion I'll get to at the end of this video, but she felt there was nothing else she could do. Her mom was literally abusing her, beating her, chaining her to the bed just for wanting to live a normal life as a teenager. Not to mention all the unnecessary surgeries her mom forced her to get. She might have died if she never did what she did. And that's what I'm saying here. I mean, I think in Gypsy's world at that point, there really was no outing. And obviously it wasn't the right thing to do, but also I am like so like I don't want to go to doctors, I don't want any surgeries, I don't want procedures, so I cannot imagine like being forced upon these things and just like how your body reacts. I mean, I've heard Gypsy share that she's got this like issue where she has to constantly clear her throat, like because she had like the glands removed out of her like throat because her mom wanted her to appear that she was drooling to the doctor. So she would put things in her mouth to make her drool so that the doctors would recommend having this like gland removed. Like there's so much crap that she went through that I can't put myself in a position to say like, oh, she's wrong or right, because like who could even live through any of that? And now to even see her on social media, I think it's hard for people to grasp because it's just like you survived this and now what is next for Gypsy?
I'm about to celebrate with my family. I have my dad and my stepmom Christy here, and of course my husband. So we're looking to bring in the new year together. It's going to be really awesome to have some family time after so long.
I hope she keeps posting on social media, and I think everyone is just amazed to see that this woman survived this and curious to see what she's going to do next. I mean, we know a lot about her story because of the documentaries and the act on Hulu, which Joey King played Gypsy, and she really got into that role and showed us what Gypsy lived through. Because Joey King understands Gypsy's story so well, seeing Gypsy get out of prison was an emotional experience for her.
Joey's comment, she said, really emotional to me, especially after playing her. I truly believe the right decision was made. A popular 8-episode Hulu TV series named The Act, which was released in 2019, follows the entire story of how Dee Dee's Munchausen syndrome by proxy destroyed her and her daughter's life. Joey admittedly had to change her entire appearance and act almost like an infant for her role as Gypsy. She even had to have a set of gap-tooth dentures fitted.
Now, I think a lot of people are emotionally invested in this story, especially to imagine that poor little girl going through all of that. But at the same time, there are people who cannot get over the fact that she used her ex-boyfriend, who is severely autistic from what I've read, to carry out this murder and then essentially try to make him feel better about it. Gypsy's now getting freedom and people are treating her like a full-blown celebrity. I mean, the amount of content that's been created, the signs, the memes, people are eating her up. And a lot of people are upset because they still see her as a murderer, and then also are upset because they are kind of like, I guess, glorifying the trauma that she had went through, which I think at the end of the day, we need to ask Gypsy how she feels. And I admit that I think she does like this attention and people praising her after being isolated for, her entire life. This person tweeted, "They're acting like she's a god or something." Then this person replied, "Right? Calling her mother? Like, I don't get it." Another person wrote, like, they want her clout so bad. And then another person added, treating her like some kind of circus sideshow. And you have to admit that I think everyone has a point here. I mean, seeing TMZ like follow her into like a Payless to go and get some shoes. She really didn't have any shoes getting out of prison. So, she's being followed like a celebrity, which is a little bit weird to see. To have the paparazzi constantly behind her, which I think this is kind of just like a big wave that's going to hit. It's obviously not going to be like this forever. Who knows? It is interesting to see how she went from prison to paparazzi. And now people are following her in Missouri and Louisiana, and she really can't catch a break. But I do think that Gypsy would prefer this life over Nick's life, because that ex-boyfriend that she had, he's still locked up and he's not getting out anytime soon, even though he admits that he was manipulated and essentially like brainwashed because he loved her so much. He'd do anything for her. It doesn't take away from the act that he performed. And I still can't get over the fact that he said he wanted to R-word her mother, and then Gypsy agreed that he can R-word her after, which I just think is like, I don't know, doesn't help Nick's case.
Nick Godejohn, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's ex-boyfriend, who was convicted of murdering her mother Dee Dee Blanchard, is still in prison amid Gypsy's release. Gypsy and Nick met on a dating website for Christian singles in 2013 when Gypsy was 21 years old.
So Gypsy was a couple years older than him. I don't think you could say that she was much more mature than him because of the situation she's been living in her life. But also keep in mind that I believe he's autistic, like I said. So he has his own personal issues that he has to work through to really come to an understanding of what's right and wrong. And Gypsy, I guess, feeding this information into his ear wasn't helping his case.
Sentencing hearing in February 2019, Godejohn said, quote, "I was blindly in love. That was always very much the case." Godejohn had no history of violence, and it's reported that after the murder, he was very upset. In fact, he later told ABC 2020, quote, "I felt horrible about it. When me and her were in the hotel room, Gypsy kept on telling me, 'Stop crying, there's no reason to cry.' He said, 'I did what I did because I loved her. I really wanted a life with her.'"
I think that's what upsets a lot of people, is that they see Nick as an innocent bystander and essentially just the person used by Gypsy to carry out this heinous act, whether it was justified because she was abused or not. I mean, that's another debate. But this guy, some people see him as a victim, and he's tried to go back in court and ask for forgiveness. But essentially, he's going to be spending the rest of his life behind bars.
In August 2022, he was in court asking for his conviction to be set aside and for a new trial to happen on the grounds that he had ineffective counsel. But in March 2023, his motion to vacate, set aside, or correct judgment and sentence was denied.
I do wonder what Nick thinks seeing like Gypsy's fame and success. I don't know what access he has, but sometimes in prisons and jails, they're making TikToks, they've got TVs, iPads. I don't know if he's seeing her blow up, but I can't imagine what he is feeling or any of these people involved. But I didn't want to go through the entire story. I just wanted to go through different points. I've been like definitely following this like super hard, and I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. I think it's incredibly fascinating. I do want Gypsy to have a great life because I can't imagine what her mother had gone, or like her mother had put her through. But I can see like I can see all these different sides, and it's such an interesting moment for us to unpack. But hopefully I hope that like Gypsy's story like legitimizes this disorder her mother had and how these victims go through it, and people can pick up on it a little bit easier. And also, one comment I see all over social media, which maybe one of you guys will know in the comments below: what about the doctors? What about the doctors? What about the people that like performed these surgeries and did these things? Like, where are they? I would love to know, because every like social media post, I see these comments. What about the doctors? Nobody knows. I mean, maybe you guys know. Maybe I'm just like missing it. But yeah, I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.